And it's lights out and away we go here in Formula Sundays. Through the final chicane and the AlphaTauri hits the wall of champions. Hello everybody and welcome back to Formula Sundays in Miami. And then we go right into the game. See people joining late, which there will be, 2, that is. Currently 12 people in the lobby, but Fabian and MQ are gonna join with a little bit of delay. So, yeah, we got a nice little quality session up ahead of us. This is second designated street circuit that we're seeing this season, and the 8th race of the season overall. And it will be a banger, hopefully. I think I'm not entirely sure here. Looks like it could be raining. I may have seen like these little spots, like graphical glitches or stuff that I so often see when I think it's raining and it is actually not. But skies do look a little bit dark indeed, and yeah, no idea what is eventually gonna happen. Whipping out the standings real quick. I think with the reports being processed, it is like sorta not entirely accurate anymore, because I think Jannemann is on top again. He wins some more points against Hussein, with Jimsky being penalized. But pre-report, it was Hussein on 113 points ahead of Jannemann with 111, and then Seagull with 101. Jimsky following up with 75. Maybe this is post-reports as well, I actually don't know. Presumably not. And yeah, then is the bigger gap again, up until MQ and Demiels with 58 and 54 respectively, and Kingsman with 49, relatively close by as well. There's a little battle for P5, and afterwards 4P9 or P8 rather, and onwards Gary has a chance to make up some ground against DJ today. DJ on 25 points and Cherry on 22. DJ won't be racing tonight. And yeah, afterwards there's a lot of best of the rest going on for yeah, the spots around P10 in the Drivers' Championship. I mean, Marcian, of course, with his P3 already up in 10th, or presumably a P2, I guess. And direct competitor with the car we see on screen here, Nitro, on 15 points. So, team championship is still very clearly in the hands of Ferrari. 184 points for them, 153 for Haas, and then Red Bull with 143 points coming after. But of course, having missed out on a race weekend entirely, as the only team in the top 8. And afterwards it's relatively far until we get to Williams with 78 points, and then McLaren and Aston are fighting for that P5 with 46 and 45 points respectively. So I've yapped through the entirety of the first hot lap. Speaking of Yapman, every time I yap it reminds me of him. Good times when we were casting this together. Truly great. And we have MQ asking for an invite, so let's get that done real quick. Whoop. There we are. And I think with that we should maybe jump onto Emil's perspective. Driver I would expect to be reasonably fast here. Seagull and Yanneman most likely driving their times on an intermediate. Hussein not being out yet at all. Should usually hint towards his classic strategy of waiting until the very end to set a lap time and not setting one at all beforehand. Not sure why he does it, but he tends to do that a lot. Maybe he's still, I don't know, eating, preparing mentally for the race. Who knows? But yeah, Emil's is on an actual hot lap, and I think if I look at the times, he should be able to beat what Nitro has presented for provisional pole right now. Let's see. It is a 127 high, and that's a 4/10 ahead of what Nitro has cooked. Let's see, Cherry is slow around here. And goes into the pits as well, abandoned his hot lap. Eric on an invalid lap as well. Astral still going. I assume this is not how you gear if you are actually trying. Let's just jump onto Kingsman's perspective, as probably gonna be the next guy to go on a hot lap. And there is MQ as well, the second Ferrari, so crucial for the constructors' battle here, with both Haas present and Seagull now a permanent resident of that second Haas seat. It's getting increasingly tough for Ferrari to defend their #1 spot. We will get Fabian in here real quick while King starting off his lap. And only missed 2 turns or so. This part, very tricky, especially in worse conditions like these. I assume the track temperature is not optimal here, so not perfect, perfect grip levels. And Kingsman now chasing down the back straight, or rather curve. Going into the slowest part of the track here. Long rather, right-hander, and these very hard all turns here. Excellently navigated so far, not taking the sausage curve at all, and that is a purple sector 2, if we can believe the game. But I think Kingsman is in fact also able to normally be in range of Emil's times, so he may well have the chance to go on to provisional pole for now. Let's see what's happening with that, and it is by a landslide the new fastest lap here, half a second ahead. And yeah, beautiful performance by the Williams driver. Let's see, next to the hot lap is gonna be Nitro again. I guess we're gonna watch whatever Ferrari is behind that. That is Yanneman, as we have seen Nitro's first lap entirely already. And Yanneman on the softs, though we may as well be watching a attempt that could go for pole in the long way. Yeah, we can see here also the classical warming of the tires, as just going straight, going full throttle, and then holding between 20 and 30% of the brake. Gets the tires up to temperature real quick, real nice. Probably better than you could do with just wiggling around, which is kinda busted. Pretty sure this is not how it works IRL. But yeah, it is how it is in the game. Yanneman here, lifting in the right-hander, and now this long left turn. Kinda tough to hit the outside apex, if you will, for the turn in at the right spot, because it's a little bit weird with the releases and stuff. So you can take like one or two different approaches through that long left-hander. Here though, relatively easy, just stay close to the walls. Not like you have much of a choice here, as there's walls pretty much everywhere. Little slide for Yannemann. All in the exit here. Takes that reasonably well. 4 seconds quicker so far. It's already on a pace for a 28.2, and I assume it is possible to gain another second with the added top speed through the better traction out of the last turn and through here. So let's see where it comes out. It is a 27.36, just ahead of Kingsman, actually way closer than I thought. And there are other challenges setting lap times just about now as well. Eric, I think, just jumped into P3 ahead of Emils. Gary now. It's a little bit slower than the others. It's not going to be enough for... Oh, and that's an invalidation as well. That is a bit tragic. Would have been P4, P5, yeah, P5 for now. MQ goes 6th. And what is Fabian cooking? His first hot lap, just joined in a little bit late. In his old Aston with Marslian. Who has not set a lap time on dry tires yet. I think he might be about to finish if I see it right on the minimap. In the last few turns now. Okay, Fabian might be lagging a little bit. I was wondering why he is not properly accelerating, but yeah, he is just gone. Well, Emils is on a hot lap. I guess Fabian will need an invite again. Seems to have connectivity issue again. I think last week needed 2 or 3 invites as well. And to fully stay in the session as well. Yeah. Here's Emils, 6 seconds slower. Not looking too great. It's probably gonna be an in-lap then. Ooh, Astral is not necessarily on track. Solar down on his time as well, but presumably on an in-lap too. And we get to not enjoy Martin yet, unfortunately. Was Astral close to the finish line? Thought we could jump to him immediately. Very not quite sure what he's doing. Maybe he's out of fuel already. He is on an in-lap for sure though. And it will be only one more chance for him to set a proper lap. Fabian has joined again, and that is great to see. And now it is only one man on the track. Eric is also now driving out, but Martin is going to be the only one setting a timed lap now. Here we go. Yeah, has missed out last weekend's race as well. Has had some, sometimes due to loss of talent, sometimes due to unfortunate circumstances. Had some incidents. Sometimes lived up to his reputation with walls a little bit. But he has been on pace generally in the past few races, if it was not for the incidents. So, yeah. Gonna be interesting to see where he can go if he keeps it on track. Miami, of course, a track hated for the lack of grip it provides, because the game is sort of accurate with the shitty quality of the asphalt. As yeah, this was a real life problem as well, that cars couldn't really find much grip on this track, because the track was like freshly surfaced and not really yeah, made for racing, I guess. Hussein retired after Seagull saying he was going to qualify. Martin did qualify here in P6 for now. Ooh, Eric must have had a lightning sector 1. Actually, if the delta isn't lying, this could be enough for pole for now, provisionally at least. And that would be crazy for Eric, honestly. He hasn't been quite up there in a while, but I'd be more than stoked to see him back in his prime. And with that, I don't necessarily mean causing incidents, but like pace-wise, be very cool. He has lost a little bit of his lead, so it's ultimately gonna only be an improvement and not a pole position. I doubt you can find much time on a straight line. Yeah, and not like that neither. That's probably qualifying for Eric. I mean, he seems to have some fuel on board. He could go for a charge lap. I'm not sure if he's getting out of the pits again, if he coming in now. We'll try to watch Fabian again. Actually, maybe this makes his PC nervous and he crashes again. The game. 0.5 improvement for Astral. It's currently not giving him any position. Taking a little bit of slipstream from the Haas. That is presumably, well, it could be either Emils or Seagull. Can't really say for sure. Sliding a little bit in that last turn. And coming over the line. 0.2 improvement. No positional improvement for the McLaren driver. MQ, 2/10 down. I don't think we're gonna look at that much longer. See what Cherry's cooking. Last chance for him. No set lap time yet. Gonna have to carry a Red Bull in this qualifying. As crazy as this sounds. And I probably want to watch Seagull's quick lap in a bit. And Fabian has retired. I wonder if this is due to disconnect or if it is just because he bottled the lap at some point. Maybe cut this corner here. Barry with a little bit of a warbang. But if he does not invalidate late on, he is gonna get this through. That is a decent turn there. The hairpin is giving him decent exit speed towards the finish line, and 27.6, quite remarkable by him. Going up to third for now, but everybody is out there still looking for improvements. Let's see what Seagull can cook here. Of course, one of the top contenders, with Jimsky not being around again. I think it is pretty much between Seagull and Jannemann if Hussein is starting from the back. It's gonna be tough for the Red Bull driver. Seagull currently 3 seconds up already. They say 27.7. He's getting a very nice slipstream here by Emils. Oh yeah. Moves out of the way. They coordinated this. Emils not gonna get another improvement, unfortunately, after his first lap. But Seagull will set a time that is pretty much unbeatable here. And it is only Kingsman who could do it, maybe? Ah, so close by the Williams driver, almost there. Very nice performance by him regardless there, getting onto that P2. That little toe, yeah, helped Seagull stay in front, otherwise I think he wouldn't have made it. 2 poles here, in a little bit of a battle for P4 as well. Marceljan in the end coming out on top. Now we see MQ on his last legs here. He's gonna find an improvement. He lost traction there. It cost him a little bit of time. He did, I think, get past Nitro still, so it's one position at least. But no sizable improvement in the end. Now it's only Cherry on the track. Gonna be waiting until he either reaches the pits or crosses the finish line. See? I'm going to turn on the... My light might be broken. Well, rest in peace, my eyes. Eagle Kingsman, British front row lockout, head of Yanuman. Gonna be interesting. I think they're gonna whip out some spicy tire strats. And very close together, Marceljan, Cherry, and Eric. Then Emil, Smart, and MQ. Nitro, completing the top 10. Gonna try to get some energy up. I don't know. I just got hit with, I don't know, you know when you like get hit by some Samba move randomly, and that hit me like 15 minutes before cast, so was way more happy to go with a like quiet casting for quali, but yeah, given that I'm not usually the most energetic caster anyway, trying to force me extra hard, maybe get some excitement into first few turns. If there is any contact or anything spicy happening. I see. So, formation lap. And we're gonna figure out who drives what first. And it is Seagull on the hard compound. Everybody else but Nitro and Solar on the softs. So, yeah, very interesting strategy calls here. I mean, I think Seagull generally likes driving the harder compound first, but it's an interesting strat to be in E1. Maybe he does think that he can defend his place well enough to kinda rob the other drivers of their advantage if they can't overtake it. But the other side, like Sector 2 DRS zone, are really long, and so is the straight in Sector 3. It is not impossible at all to overtake here. It's just a question about when get past and potentially take an advantage. Medium hard is a valid option here, lap 14 to 19. What they're saying, so you can drive half the distance on the medium. Medium, as we've seen, possible as well, but it is pretty much always. Not actually sure. I don't think you lose that much time in the pits here, so more pit stops could be possible. Also, I think a relatively safety car prone track due to the amount of quick turns and walls. So that is always an option. Might be what Nitro and Solar on the softs have been gambling for. And yeah, the start is going to be very interesting. Eagle will have the disadvantage on the hards. It's just about how well of a start Yanuman, Kingsman, etc. will be getting. So, Seagull lining up in the pole position, following by everybody else here. Cherry parking a little bit too over eager maybe. And it looks like all the drivers are stationary already. Why is Eric? Okay. Lights are going on. And they're out and away we go, and Jannemann gets a banging start here, already on the outside of Seagull here, who closes the door but makes room for Kingsman on the inside. He's going past side by side here, I think fully ahead now. And Jannemann is looking around the outside of that Haas, but can't quite find a way past. There is a little bit of a gap between Cherry and MQ, but MQ has already gained, I think, 2 positions. Solar has lost a bunch. I wonder what happens there. But in the front, the lead has changed. Yellow flag for Fabian. Oh boy. That's... yeah. It's like something, I guess. Eric right in the middle of the mix. And... oh, did I see a move somewhere there? Yeah, I think it is Marcellian trying to get past Cherry, or the other way around. Marcellian was ahead at the start and is ahead now. There is a move between Martin and Nitro, I think, going on. Oh, and Nitro slides out, gives Martin the position, and Hussein is already up in the mix as well. Man, this guy had a crazy start then. Jumping on board with him here, as I think he's gonna fly past Martin as well. And until we see different things. Oh, actually, might see that one for Seagull. Still on the hard, so with the tar disadvantage. Trying to go past. Kingsman holds tight. Remaining side by side on the inside. Seagull with the fastest lap, no surprise. As they're going side by side down turn 1. It's so easy to lock wheels here, and then the cars are just gone. Jannemann so close behind as well. And it seems like Seagull can hold the lead for a little bit here. So, let's see. Hussein has gotten past Martin for good, and now it's Eric up next ahead of him. Not too big of a gap to the leaders yet, which is great for Hussein, but it also means that there is gonna be a DRS train a little bit. Kingsman, looking around the outside, can brake a little bit later because of his tire advantage, and will have the inside for this one. Could be big, but is forced to yield here by Seagull, who's just sticking it straight in there. And yeah, kinda has to hope there that Kingsman backs out. But fair and square move, I guess. If you can force your opponent without contact to take certain lines, I think that is well allowed. So Eric already playing slipstream games here, trying to break the slipstream a little bit, but of course robs himself of slipstream as well. Eric is moving. Martin has left the session. That is not great. I am not sure what happened to Eric, but he is behind Hussein now. Prepare for Eric jumpscare when he inevitably appears ahead again. I think I'm already getting Martin inside. Martin. And yeah, we're enjoying Hussein's perspective a little bit. He sees a lot of stuff from here, including a move by Kingsman on Seagull in the far distance, but also Cherry versus MQ here. Two teammates might come together very closely here, as it is Red Bull, Ferrari stacked upon each other. And Hussein gonna have the DRS here for the first time, but so is everybody else. It is still up until P8 one big DRS train. Marcellian has made it past Jannemann as well, interestingly enough. And honestly, this straight is surprisingly short for how long it actually is. Right now I think it is really just waiting for a mistake somewhere. I think a good thing for Hussein is that Seagull is on the hard tires actually. He helped the field up with the fighting with Kingsman and Yanneman quite well so far. That is a beautiful little move by Hussein there against MQ. And he can now close up to the next target, who should not be super hard to pass, because it is his teammate after all. Oh, unless MQ comes in with a counter, but I don't think that's gonna stick. I was about to say he needs to give a little bit of room to the inside, but yeah, that was not quite enough, I think. And come further back up to the group now, who is a little bit separated now. Dane, of course, lost a lot of ground with this as well. I think the one impacted by this the least is actually Eric in the end. As Hussein makes it past MQ on the straight, or is he? There's a yellow flag somewhere, but I don't think there's any actual incidents. Oh. Jerry and... No, Marslian must have been out somewhere. Wait, what? What's happened? MQ in the pits. Oh, must have lost his front wing in the incident. Very unfortunate for him. And, yeah. It is now really Kingsman and Seagull only here at top. Kingsman seems to have blistering pace today, honestly. He's always sort of up there, but now he is keeping up with Seagull better than even Yanneman is, who is usually the next best contender. Nitro. It looked like he was already stationary before, but somehow he got spun out again. Marslian has made it back past Cherry, so I do assume it is just Marslian running deep in the hairpin after Sector 3. And thus losing like 3 or 4 seconds, putting him in the position he is in right now. Yanneman is just about closing up to Seagull and Kingsman again, but they of course have the advantage of the DRS. Seagull cutting across and firmly assuming this one for himself, and oh my, Kingsman has slid into the wall there. Fortunate for him to not get any visible damage here, I think. Yanneman has now closed up into DRS range again. We see Hussein has made up the ground that he has lost as well. Now ahead of Eric, even though he's getting pushed a little bit there. Oh my, Eric has definitely given him that active slipstream. And Hussein is set free of pace after his teammate again. It's a gap of only 2 seconds, and I think Marslian and Cherry are even closing up to the top again, so it's, I don't know, it's very close so far, I think, pace-wise between the field. There's much less of a best of the rest of as there usually is, as Eric has gotten back past Hussein. This might also only be because Seagull is on the inferior tire right now. Oh, Eric looked like he was spinning there, but it just about caught his car before collecting Hussein. Hussein, side by side with Eric now. Has the DRS. Meals is behind them as well. Thinking about a potential move too, but slowing down is the right option here, I think. And Yanneman has gotten past Kingsman. The pace of the Williams seems to be slightly declining. Cherry and Marslian. I mean, maybe the top guys just picked up the pace, honestly, because Marslian and Cherry lost some ground again as well. Hussein can't really catch up with these two as well. Seems to be really tough to gain any sizable advantage here. At least Hussein seems to be able to stay ahead of Eric for now. Oh, there is some in-team fighting. And seems like Astral is coming out on top for now. Yeah, not getting the better exit, but still staying ahead. So Emil's just getting past Eric here already. That was a very early overtake. Eric must have had a very poor exit. And there is a little bit of a lockup, but I think it was Emil's in the end. Ooh, sliding around a little bit as well. And Eric presses the overtake, tries to take advantage of that. As we see Martin go back ahead in the McLaren battle. But will he stay ahead? Astral down towards the inside. Has to yield again. The next turns favor Martin. And Solar is the first to pit. Of course, one of the two drivers on the softs. He's actually not the first to pit. Nitro just pitted last lap and I just missed it. So, Yannemann and Kingsman now swapping positions around a little bit. Not really getting closer to Seagull anyway. Which is not great for their prospects of a race win here. Right now, the only few drivers in DRS range. Oh, actually, Kingsman is, of course, swapping back the position with Yannemann. Now back ahead. And usually, if you have the pace, this can gain you up to 3/10, 4/10 maybe, a lap on the car in front. Because you get the slipstream and then the overtake with the DRS that the other car does not have. And what up for reviewers? How did the Ascension match go? Give us some good news. Would be very curious to hear how that went. Did it work? I feel like you oh no. I'm not saying what I thought I was saying, but no, I think people arrived here. Yes. It at least displays the message. So yeah, welcome Rocket League enjoyers to Formula Sundays. A little bit of a quiet edition here tonight. Not that there isn't anything happening, but not the best energy for me here tonight. And right now, Seagull is sort of flying off into the distance. The fights for P2 here still going on. A lot of positional changes. Was a good series. 4-2 win for Blauhigh-Ball. That's a shame, of course, but at least to a good team, I guess. I think Blauhigh-Ball were pretty scary to begin with. Not really expected of our boys to win, if I'm not mistaken, right? Did not follow Mount Sundays an awful lot. But yeah. Back to another Ascension player, I guess. Cherry here. Is still keeping a healthy distance to Hussein, honestly. And Marslian and him are, yeah, sort of keeping the distance to Yannemann and Kingsman as well. Really only just Seagull who is going further and further away. So yeah, Nitro back into the pits. I wonder if he broke a wing or something. We could find that out real quick. Don't think there's any major moves going on. Yep, wing is going. And there is the new one. Doesn't seem to be the best track for him here. But I mean, the hated track by many people. So, yeah, I don't know. It could maybe be a good track if they slightly reworked the very tight section there before the long straight and gave it more grip. But what can you do? Cherry up to P4. A pleasant sight for him, but how long will it last? Marcellian here on the inside. Light contact, and I mean all this fighting, this does benefit Hussein. Now coming very close in the other Red Bull. And he is actually snatching away P5 already. And will have a good shot at Marcellian here then, who can't really defend himself much. Hussein has a lot of energy in the tank, and of course had a good exit. And there we are, finally up to P4. I don't know, I think like at this point I'm just vibing alone. I appreciate you being here and like chatting a little bit, but I think at this point I'd rather just go through solo. Hey, faded people as well. Oh, this is just Ascension Hangout now, right? All of you guys probably were watching the series that I have already heard. Was unfortunately lost. But hey, there's still some Ascension players to root for in here. Namely, for example, these two here, Kingsman and Yannaman in P2 and 3. But Cherry in P6 is also in a very good spot. And then we do have some Ascension associated people further down the grid as well. Eric coming into the pits here. Faded Raid. What up, Bree? How are you doing? Then vibe. Ooh, vibe I shall. So, yeah, Yannaman here is probably gonna get another go at Kingsman, but maybe not here, because his exit was pretty ass. The straight, however, are rather long anyways. We may see him going through here on the inside regardless. And that is a clean move through. I mean, all the stuff they're doing here is just playing into the hands of Seagull, who can gain more and more. And of course of Hussein and Marcellian here, who are now gaining and gaining on these two. Kingsman had a little bit of a drift there and pretty much eliminates the gap he had to the Red Bull. Barry has closed up again. And yeah, I don't know, he's keeping up with the top pack pretty well, I'd say. Yannaman here staying in front this time around. But what will happen as soon as these guys join the fight? Pit window is probably about to open. I think the strategy in the start set lap 14 to 19 for medium to hard. And I guess for Seagull this means the same. Good pit from now on at any point until, like, I think probably the next 4 laps would be good. And we see the first people coming in as well. Martin now coming down into the pits, and he will come out behind Solar even, I think, but maybe ahead of Fabian. You may see pit exit, of course, is a little bit shorter than turn 1. But Fabian goes through as well, but this is gonna be a nice little battle between these two. And of course, I mean, until Fabian inevitably pits, because he still needs to. And up here, Kingsman in the meantime took back P2. Marcellian and Barry dropped behind a little bit, but Hussein has closed up to this top 2 and 3 here. Podium positions now heavily contested. But there's no move happening right here. I wonder if a pit stop now is maybe the right call. Yeah, Kingsman coming in, trying to undercut Yannemann and Hussein, who are still battling it out. I think Hussein is going to have the upper hand into turn 1. That's pretty easily through. And Marslian and Cherry are following through as well. Going for the undercut. Probably a wise decision. They were in danger of dropping out of this little trio and not really being able to contest the positions anymore. And good news for them as well, they have returned to the track ahead of Eric. So did not lose any positions due to their stops being 2 laps later than Eric's. And yeah, are now chilling in P5 to 7. Could be good for Eric though, gaining back some seconds close up to this chasing group, chasing the leaders. Emil's up in the mix there in the middle, but he has been in no man's land pretty much for most of the race. Still needs to pit as well, and will be coming out behind MQ even, maybe. Not entirely sure. MQ pitted early due to wing damage. And what is Yannemann and Hussein doing now? Yeah, they have to pit now because they can't afford to undercut. Seagull is taking the risk here. I think at this point you can probably finish the race medium, so would be well possible for him to just hold the bluff of the other drivers here. Go pit with them. But he's staying out. It's gonna give him a nicer stint on the medium where he can potentially push. I mean, let's be real. This race is Seagulls to lose. Oh, and there is the others coming out of the pits here. Yannemann just rejoining right in front of Marslian's nose. And now this group of 6 is, yeah, very packed up again, even though it's only 5. Kingsman, Hussein, Yannemann, Marslian and Cherry. And Eric maybe even, if he can keep the pace. He looked very good in quali. He almost drove a pole position time here, Eric. A little bit of a surprise, but yeah, ultimately watched it mainly in Sector 2, I think. And yeah, Cherry gets a corner cut warning. This is, or rather penalty, is painful for him. He seemed to have good chances in this pack still. Eagle coming in. Niels is probably following here, as they are far enough apart. Not realistic. And no, Emil's staying out for an extra lap. Wondering what's up with that. He's getting some leading laps now, or at least some leading meters. But Seagull is going to reclaim that position very shortly, I'm sure. And Kingsman gained 1.5 seconds maybe through the undercut, but not enough to catch up to Seagull even remotely. Seagull just now. Yeah, it's just a big W for him that Emil stayed out an extra lap. He's getting a free slipstream plus DRS, getting another like half second or so of a gap to the others. Emil's moving out of the way there. Yeah, very nicely coordinated by the Haas's yet again, whether it was intentional or not. Yeah, Marslian there going a little bit deep, but staying on track and staying ahead, crucially, of Yannemann and Cherry. These guys are really bunched up, been driving the entire lap pretty much within half a second. Now Emils needs to get out of the way before he can give anyone else DRS. I would assume the time for pitting has come anyways. Unless he's going for a wicked medium soft threat or something. Oh, and he did go quick into the pits. Too quick. Hannemann fastest lap in the Ferrari. I mean, he did have DRS on and did get the overtake in the end. But Seagull is also pretty fast, so I think he's gonna snatch it away in this lap already. That lap, of course, wasn't gonna be quicker than yeah, than this lap, but so Hussein climbs as far up as he has ever been in this race. Started from last, of course, due to not qualifying, and could go all the way up to now, but is defending quite well. This, of course, all plays into the hands of Seagull, but I think Seagull right now is driving his fastest lap attempt anyways, and I mean, we've seen it here. He's gained seconds, maybe 1.5 seconds on the pack. So this is gonna be pretty fast. Let's see it. At 29.9 is, I think, a second quicker than the previous fastest lap, which was like a 1:30 something. Yeah, and this battle for P3, I think it will be, still goes on. Hussein seems to be getting away from Kingsman a little bit. Kingsman has to care to not jump out of or fall out of DRS window, rather. Coming around this turn, the exit is everything here, and I think he still got it. Yeah, just about staying in. But here, a good third sector could really make things difficult for Kingsman. I'm jumping on board of someone again. Like, TV is cool to like keep an overview, but I feel like, I don't know, I mean, most of RL F1 is like shown from the cockpit perspective here as well anyways. Let's see what Jannemann can cook here on the straight. I don't think this is gonna be an overtake, but at least it brings him and Kingsman back closer to Hussein again. Yeah, now this is a crucial moment again. 0.7 of a distance, and turns, of course, you kinda suffer from dirty air and not really get the slipstream benefits. We're seeing that right here. Kingsman on the verge of dropping out of the 1 second window, and that would be crucial for Hussein's just about on the edge right now. But yeah, I think Hussein has done it. Broken away from his followers there, and this also means that Kingsman is under some threat by Jannemann. Going up the inside here is not the easiest move to pull through, because you have that long right-hander following up, favoring the car on the outside if you're not getting fully past on the straight. And now another chance into the hairpin. Not the best exit, but it will be alright. Slipstream is carrying. And I think Jannemann is ahead enough to not fear a counter here. Jumped on board of Cherry, seeing this entire business unfold. Potential move on the lines by Marcellian here, around Kingsman as well. Like, wheels kinda locked there, so dangerous. Drive like this so close together, you just tiny contact between this left rear of Kingsman and the right front of Marcellian could spin both their cars around. Kingsman is falling behind of Jannemann as well. It's 0.9 here. Gonna gain a lot back, of course, with the Slipstream and DRS, and maybe he does have a more straight line speed setup regardless. Or 3 wide here potentially. There was brief contact between Marcellian and Kingsman. Jannemann has the inside line here. I think he will stay ahead, sliding through the turn. And this little train here goes on another ride around these high turns. Ferry, I think, should really just be chilling behind these guys, recharging his ERS as well as he can. Hey, opposite of recharge. Wait for them to drain theirs, so he potentially has a chance in the very end. But yeah, towards the back he doesn't really have much to fear, and towards the front he can't really do much without the others also getting a penalty. So he's in a very ambivalent position here. Astro did collect the time penalty. I do quite like Cherry's perspective for now. Gives us a lot of the action ahead of these guys. Or, yeah, ahead of him, rather. But it captures a lot of what this little group is doing. Bane is flying away, but so is Seagull. Bane right now an insane pace for the hards. Really keeping up with Seagull right now. But then again, he is not much more than keep. So, see what happens here. This was very close up there behind, between Jannemann and Marcellian. Almost locked wheels like Hussein did earlier. Cool. Hussein, of course, needs to mind the gap to Marcellian or whoever is behind here as well. In case he does get reported, I think a 5-second penalty is for sure possible. I would have to see the verdict, the incident, of course, again, but yeah. Like keeping that in the back of his mind, maybe. A little bit of a motivation for him to try and build at least a 5-second gap to keep his P2 here. But yeah, catching Seagull is gonna be tough. The mediums are of course gonna drop off towards the end, but Seagull of course is very late as well, so he's not really gonna have the tires in the state that are low. Thus I think there's little potential for Hussein to regain towards the end of this race. So, Marcellian still chilling in P3. I think MQ has just overtaken Martin. Would be surprised if 4-lap-old mediums were getting attacked by 9-lap-old hards. But yeah, these two are pretty much isolated when as well. Could be a good opportunity for Martin to follow a little bit. Because MQ is usually having pretty decent. And he is also in the better time. And these guys here seem to be continuing as is. No positional changes. All of them still lurking away in their ERS. Really fine margins for error, but so far very clean by all of them. Nobody really able to break away much. Oh, Cherry. It's not driving another attack on King. I think he's really just content with staying behind the Williams. In front there, Yanneman's starting to struggle a little bit in the turns on the tires. Wonder if that's coming into play, and now things get interesting. Kingsman with a 30-second time penalty. So that basically means that he is not getting a podium here, and that fight is exclusively between Yanneman and Marseillan. But the fight for P5 is now back on the board for Cherry. He can choose to go a little bit more aggressive later on in the race, probably be tactical and not use too much energy so far. Otherwise, yeah, he's of course not going to be able to make the move later on. Yeah, I think like on the horizon, it seems likely that Marseillan and Yanneman at some point will leave Cherry and Kingsman behind. Point 8 ahead now, even after the first long DRS straight. And gone far to the outside there, leaving the track a little bit even. But he's good through these tight turns. He's gained at least a bit of time that will help him stay in DRS range now. As nobody ever gets in range for a move. I think it's safe to say we could swap over to some other battles we got going on right now. Solar on the soft. Of course, only gonna be able to snatch away P11 here. I think the points are reasonably out of range for him. Don't think he's 4 seconds quicker than Martin last few laps. We move back up here. But Cherry kinda missed some pretty big lines there. Lost a lot of times, forcing him to spend some energy to close back up to Kingsman. Yeah, and Marseillan seems stable in P3. Let's see what the energy levels are saying. Everybody is relatively low here. Yanneman has the most out of the four. But I think he knows well enough to not waste much energy on potential overtaking attempts now, rather than sit around and wait until probably the last lap to make a move. I'm not sure if you should go in 2 or 3. The danger of a counter, of course, is there if you go in sector 2. But then again, it did not really look like sector 3 was such a consistent overtaking spot. And you probably don't want to put all your eggs in the basket by banking exclusively on a exit out of sector 2, the very last lap, make the move you need for P3, and thus the Drivers' Championship, which Yanneman very well is still in. And yeah, he might lose out valuable points to Marseillan again, as this was pretty much the exact same finishing order last week, other than Dimsky finishing first track, I think, and Hussein being a little bit further down after a crash. Honestly, kind of similar to now, I guess. Oh, Cherry. This could be a moment to make a move, but this yet again. This is not quite close enough. I'm not sure why he goes for it now. He at least did scare Kingsman a little bit, but now he's all out of energy, and some poorly managed turns afterwards cost him the entire advantage he got by pumping all that ERS in there in the first place. I assume we're gonna see two more, or at least one more lap of this. Just chill driving. And then last lap, shit's going down. Honorable mention, I guess, to Hussein, who has started gaining on Seagull. It's now below the 5-second threshold. In case that Seagull gets a 5-second penalty and Hussein doesn't, but I honestly don't think what Seagull should have done wrong, given that he was barely near anyone for the majority of the race. So let's not focus too much on that gap unless Seagull gets a puncture. Hussein is not going to catch regardless. Cherry far down again. Does not seem to be quick on straight lines here. Might be a setup issue. I mean, Kingsman does lose a lot in the technical parts of the track, hinting at him maybe having less downforce, so more straight line speed, inferior turning. I mean, whatever happens here, I think P6 is a pretty decent result for Cherry. Kingsman probably hoped for more. Same as honestly flying towards Seagull. Wait, that's crazy. Gaining a second per lap now, so yeah, maybe it is still possible for him to catch up at least into a remotely dangerous position. Kingsman with quite a little dive there to stay ahead of Cherry. But all fair and square, no contact made. That leaves Cherry with a job to do in the last lap. And it also leaves Kingsman almost a second down of the cars in front, which could be huge for Cherry as well. Because Kingsman loses 3/10 in the first sector. If he drops out of the DRS range of Jannemann and Marseille, which he will have done by now almost, this could open up a big opportunity for Cherry to go through here. So we're gonna stay on board with Cherry for a little longer. You can see the battle for P3 in the distance at least, and this battle for P5 will unfold from our very own POV. Oh, that is a good exit. That is nice enough, but I think Kingsman might have... he did actually get back into the DRS range ever so slightly, but he's not getting as much of the slipstream anymore. Cherry going around the outside, will have the inside line here. He's not quite far enough ahead, I think. You can't really take this side by side. I mean, they're showing us that you can, but you really can't. This cost Kingsman so much time, and actually this might be big brain by Cherry. This maneuver made them so much slower that Kingsman has no DRS. And Cherry is just able to fly by and secure P5 for himself if he does not break himself. Now a drag race down to the line. Contact again, and I think in the end it is Cherry coming out on top. Oh boy. Yeah, Seagull saying mediums were quite dead at the end. Maybe he pitted a lap or two earlier. This could have actually been trouble for him. Let's see. MQ trying to take away the fastest lap point for his teammate. Yeah, Jannemann once more being beaten by Marcian to the podium, by the way. We saw that in front a little bit. There was a tiny touch in the last turns that Jannemann already apologized to. And let's see, MQ needs a 29 high and he gets a 28.8. That is a smashing last lap for MQ. And Martin, yeah, did not drive a very good lap here. I wonder what happened. He lost a lot of time there. Solar coming right through behind him. Oh my god. Nitro's like getting assassinated by Astral. What the hell is going on there? That was crazy. Not sure what happened there exactly. I'm not sure who would have come out on top via penalties and stuff anyways, but yeah. Drive of the day, Hussein here. I think apart from his one mistake involving MQ there, where he did probably squeeze the Ferraris into the wall a little bit. He drove a very good and clean race, coming last to second at least, with Seagull of course. Being undisputed, I guess, in P1. Oh, what a finishing time. The day is saved, boys. The inner autism is satisfied. Yeah, Seagull once more dominant, taking the win here. Hussein up to P2, Marcian yet again sneaking away just the slightest advantage of Jannemann and coming home. I think within 0.2 for the second consecutive week against Jannemann. So, yeah. Then we have Cherry in a very nice P5, finishing right where he started. Beating out Kingsman in the end, the two Williams in 6th and 7th. A little bit disappointing finish for them maybe, but I think overall not too bad. Miels in the Haas gets points for his team as well. MQ got the fastest lap away from Seagull, big for Ferrari in the end. And then Martin McLaren. At some points for the orange team as well, or rather Papaya, if you will. Well, this was a far more chill episode of Formula Sundays, I guess. Thank you for everybody who was here the entire time. Thank you for all the raiders who stayed here, for the people who were driving. And of course, I don't know, probably happens rarely, but the team, I guess. Seagull is doing tremendous work with the tool and such. Fabian is rebuilding the Sundays Esport website currently. Astral for all the graphics. And then we have our WRC competition by Jannemann. And Solar helping with the reffing. So, yeah. Thank you all guys, and see you next week.
And it's lights out and away we go here in Formula Sundays. Through the final chicane and the AlphaTauri hits the wall of champions.